there were bumps along the way. I'm sure they were fighting along the way about certain things.
His moments with George Steinbrenner, well documented.
Well, they all have them, right? But the longevity of 20 years, the amount of hits, obviously the plays that they showed in the replay and all that other stuff. But it's I can't even explain it other than Derek Jeter is such a minimalist. Right? He dresses beautifully. His wife looked awesome.
Fantastic.
Mom and dad looked great. Grandma looked great.
His nephew in the Yankee gear.
So it's just all. But he's a minimalist. I don't know how else to say it. He dresses that way. He speaks that way. He talks in measured tones, but a very poised delivery in his speech. It didn't go on and on and on and on and on. He mentioned his coaches, his teammates. I talked about mom and dad and family. There's just something that was so right about it.
Yep.
And the way that the Yankees did it, and only the Yankees do it that way because they're the ones that have the history. And when you think about the history of the team, and then you think about what Derek accomplished as a Yankee player, and then the way he went out there and carried himself as both on the field and off the field. And I'm sure there were some things that are off the field that people don't realize and nobody knows, but who cares, right? At the end of the day, for 20 years. He was exemplary, and he was the leader. He was the captain, and he was perfect. And I just thought that the whole thing was perfect. It was well done. It was the right amount of time. He didn't speak very long.
You knew that was going to happen, right?
Because he's a minimalist.
Right.
He's just the way he is, and it's what made the ceremony all that much better.
It was a great day in Yankee Stadium. I mean, forget about the game. The game almost became immaterial to it because it was a celebration of Derek Jeter. Now, worst thing happens that you're getting blown out in the first. Like, it wasn't even a game until much later on. But it was, you're right. Listen, the Yankees, and every team would get that right. They did a great job. I will say this. When you see the 40 empty folding chairs, you're like, oh my, how many people could possibly come out?
But it's amazing how many people that were a part of his life.
I thought Beltran coming out doing the one presentation was pretty cool. His wife obviously is out there looking great. His mom and dad are healthy enough to be there and be a part of it, especially on Mother's Day. And listen, it's the official, I don't want to say goodbye because I'm sure he'll be here every now and then, but Al and I were talking about this before the show. The one thing about Derek Jeter that's different than a lot of guys in New York, and that is he kind of disappears for a while. He's not a guy that's omnipresent, you know what I mean? He's not doing 500 appearances. He's not hosting a TV or radio show. He's going about his life. And I'm sure a couple times a year there'll be a Derek Jeter event or something here in New York. But unlike, the last guy in the video tribute to him before Mattingly, in the recorded stuff, was Mark Messier. And Mark Messier, who we've had on the show 500 times, right? Like, he's around all the time. So it's weird. Like, Bernie Williams gets introduced, and, you see him all the time playing guitar.
Yeah, but,
Jeter's separate in that he's kind of extricated himself from the New York scene for a bit.
Yes, and doesn't do a lot of commercials, if any, for that matter. I have no idea what he did as commercials, but, in regards to Messier, Messier plays a different sport, so he tends to have to be out there to promote the sport and everything else. I just, the whole thing, like, there wasn't one aspect of it that I said, well, maybe there was one aspect, and it is a glaring aspect. And you could say whatever you want, and you could say wherever he was.
That the weather held?
No, well, that A-Rod was not there.
Yeah, well, by design.
Which is really telling.
He wasn't invited.
It's very telling.
Sure.
I don't know what else to tell you that, it's kind of amazing because when A-Rod was traded to the Yankees, he had to switch positions.
Right.
Now, they were not switching Derek Jeter.
Right.
Regardless of who was considered better, who was the better athlete, it didn't matter. They were not moving Derek Jeter, and A-Rod had to accept playing third base.
And at the time, remember, did so with great class.
Yeah,
at the time.
But whatever happened, I mean, like, somehow, some way, Derek Jeter stayed above the fray. So he stayed above all of it.